Now, Chair, thank you so much for your time. What do you think are the stakes for this conference here in Egypt?
The text on climate change?
Indeed, the stakes on climate change.
Yeah, I think that the text on climate change is a text that have been prepared.
The stakes, not the text. What do you think?
For us on climate change in particular, on climate change, we think this session is very important because this is a session that is happening in the beginning of a very important year in the climate change negotiation, the 2015. And we know 2015 is the year that everyone is waiting for to see the 2015 agreement to come out in Paris end of the year. And AMSIN meeting now will consider a decision on climate change that will constitute a very important guidance to the African negotiators when they engage in the negotiation of the 2015 agreement this year. And this is a decision we have been working on in collaboration with AMSIN, and we look forward to have it like a reference point, and also as an important document that highlights the priorities of Africa regarding the 2015 agreement. And I would see in that decision that Africa is definitely highlighting adaptation is one of the key priority. Africa also highlighting the need for a science-based mitigation target, and also multilateral rule-based legally binding agreement that ensures that there will be certainty, the objective of the emission reduction will be achieved, the finance is secure, technology transfer, means of implementation, and also that adaptation is fully considered and given the same priority as mitigation, because for us adaptation is a key priority in the 2015 agreement.
Now, you are aware of the draft text that will be agreed upon in Paris. Is it favoring or just favoring Africa?
Right now, the text that we have developed in last February in Geneva is a text that includes all the submission by the African group. We are confident that the text so far has all the basis for us to negotiate an agreement. It's just there is a big challenge because the text now is almost 100 pages, and negotiating 100 pages in the course of a year in only 4 sessions is a bit of challenge, and require that parties work diligently and constructively and in a manner that is ensure at least by the end of the year we will have the political deal set. And then many of the technical issues can be discussed later after the 2015, after December. And if we could achieve that, that will be a great achievement. If we could set the political deal when we had the agreement, the core body of the agreement there in Paris, that will be a great achievement that everybody is looking for. And that will at least give the assurance for all vulnerable people that the global climate change negotiation is responding positively, because otherwise we will also feel the same disappointment as it happens before in Copenhagen. Paris is similar to Copenhagen in terms of the expectation and in terms of everybody is expecting. This is the time that we should make sure that we close at least the ambition gap in terms of both emission reduction and in terms of provision of means of implementation that support the needs of the developing countries for adaptation.
Is the African group of negotiators confident that the Paris Agreement will be favorable to Africa?
Well, right now we are doing our best. We are well prepared and internally organized. We had already 2 preparatory meetings, and we made sure that we have all the submission required to be included in the text. We included the basis for us to ensure that the agreement will meet the expectation of Africa, and we will continue to negotiate and to also to talk to our political level to also coordinate with them and to make sure that we will all together working towards an agreement that meet the expectation of Africa. This is what we can say about what
So
Africa
for now,
can do.
Africa is not fully confident that the agreement might suit the aspirations of the African group of negotiators.
Because this is only because, you know, climate change negotiation proved to be a very difficult one in the past. And the problem with Copenhagen, for example, is because of the high expectation that everybody was highly expected that the Copenhagen will at least set the basis for addressing climate change in an adequate manner. But unfortunately, Copenhagen failed. Now I think we learned the lesson and we should be more realistic, but we at the same time we are very cognizant of the fact that what Africa has to make sure is to ensure that the agreement will provide the assurance, will provide the means that enable Africa to be safe under 2-degree target. This is, you know, the target that is set for the climate change emission reduction commitment, but it's still, this is a very challenging one. Unless we have sufficient support and means of implementation, Africa will face a lot of challenges in terms of its development, because development is the context that make the basis for the African group position on climate change negotiation.
Now,
but as a group, we are confident. We are confident. We have very clear position, very clear mandate from our political level, and we have very good people, intelligent people, committed people to negotiate.
Now, finally, what do you expect from this answer from the ministers regarding the negotiations for climate change? What should the ministers do? What do you expect as an outcome? What strong message should they come out with?
We normally coordinate and work closely with ministers, because the higher level segment in the climate change conferences is a ministerial one. And we always manage to work closely with our ministers. We were able in Lima, together with our minister, we were able to reject the first draft that does not contain African issues. And we managed to also get into consultation together with our ministers with the presidency, and we were able to make sure that the final draft that have been approved that take on board our issues and concerns. Ministers are expected to be dealing with high political issues, and in particular to agree on some of the options that will be raised to them by the expert, the negotiator. And we always make sure that we work closely with our ministers. We always provide them with the information that enables them also to make sure that African issues and interests are consistently dealt with from African point of view.
So any specific declaration that you expect from the ministers at the close of this conference?
Yeah, we expect a decision that might be a ministerial statement or a declaration. This is something that still needs to be discussed between today and tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chairman.
You're welcome.